Exclusive. Bombshell Epstein Files update leaves Andrew and Trump holding their breath. The imminent release of the long-sealed Jeffrey Epstein files threatens an explosive scandal for the world's powerful, posing the greatest danger to Donald Trump's presidency while dragging Andrew back into the spotlight. The royal family is bracing for fresh humiliation as the United States prepares to release the long-sealed Jeffrey Epstein files next week. The move, insiders warn, could unleash a tidal wave of scandal engulfing the rich and powerful. Yet, according to U.S. sources, it is Donald Trump that the files release holds the greatest single threat for. Given the already stripping of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor's titles and his removal from royal life, the disgraced former prince has little left to lose. However, despite years of downplaying their relationship, the leader of the free world's friendship with Epstein is expected to feature heavily in the files. Unless that is his name has been redacted by his frantic Justice Department. Now, a Mirror investigation details just what those men in Epstein's orbit now are right to fear. 40 computers seized. Rumors of pictures of the president with Epstein and young women, emails between the two men and more details of their decades-long friendship have risen to a fever pitch. The files expected next week include witness interview transcripts, seized evidence inventories, and internal communications from multiple federal investigations, including those from Epstein's Manhattan townhouse, Palm Beach mansion, and New Mexico ranch. During those searches, authorities seized 40 computers, 26 encrypted hard drives, and extensive audiovisual equipment. There were enough devices to run a small intelligence agency, a former Department of Justice official said. Legal experts say the documents also expose previously unknown details about Epstein's 2008 Florida plea deal, the so-called sweetheart agreement that allowed him to avoid serious federal charges. American analysts believe internal memos and communications will reveal whether officials shot far more information than was publicly acknowledged at the time. Financial records are also expected, including ledgers, bank transfers, and account documents linked to Epstein's network. The money trail is where the real power connections are, the official said. Those documents will make a lot of people very uncomfortable. Catastrophe for the elite's. British officials are closely monitoring any references to Epstein's activities in the UK, including his connections to London social circles through Ghislaine Maxwell and the former Duke of York. If there are specific references to addresses, guests, meetings, or events in British soil, the political fallout could be immense, a Met Police contact warned. Previously, the Mirror revealed that more than 300 Brits listed over 1,000 numbers and dozens of email addresses between the mayor contained within Epstein's Black Book. Senior figures on both sides of the Atlantic have told the Mirror the documents could prove catastrophic for some of Epstein's most high-profile associates and contain far more detailed flight logs, visitor lists, and evidence inventories than anything previously revealed. Andrew's hopes will explode, one Washington source told us. This is the moment everyone within Epstein's circle has always feared. If even half of what investigators know is in those files is released, Trump will be dragged into the Epstein storm, while any hopes Andrew Mountbatten Windsor had of things dying down will implode. The files, held by the U.S. government, are known to be the largest trove of documents pertaining to sex offender and his, Madam, Ghislaine Maxwell, ever set to be made public. The Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed into law on November 19, ensures that while Epstein's victims will remain fully protected, his wealthy associates will not. The move has sent shockwaves through London, New York, and Palm Beach. Andrew's name appears repeatedly in previously released flight logs, but officials say what has been made public so far is a fraction of what U.S. authorities actually hold on him. One investigator familiar with the records said, "The flight logs in the public domain aren't even the tip of the iceberg." Now, with just a week to go before the U.S. government deadline to release the files expires, the world's rich and powerful are bracing themselves. No one, however, faces more to lose than Trump. Senior U.S. figures have told the Mirror that the documents represent the greatest single threat to the U.S. leader's presidency, warning they could expose previously unseen emails, visitor lists and evidence inventories, far beyond anything ever made public. The insider added, "There is a reason why Trump fought so hard to keep them under lock and key, and a reason why his Attorney General Pam Bondi is said to have had FBI agents working tirelessly to remove her boss's name wherever it appears. If even a fraction of what investigators believe is in them becomes public, the consequences could be catastrophic for him." The royal family is also preparing for renewed humiliation, with officials fearing the disclosures will drag Prince Andrew back into the glare of the Epstein scandal. "This is the moment Buckingham Palace always feared," another source admitted. If the files contain what investigators know, Andrew could be dragged straight back into the center of the Epstein storm. The gold dust more explosive still are the full logs kept by Epstein's chief pilot, Larry Vysotsky. Those files remain with the FBI and could be released next week, but insiders say they are the most detailed record of Epstein's global movements. Vysotsky's files are gold dust, the intelligence source said. A complete account of who flew where, when, and with whom. Andrew's name already appears in previously released flight logs from pilot David Rogers, though officials stress what is currently public is a fraction of what the U.S. government holds. They added, "The flight logs people have seen aren't even the tip of the iceberg. The next release will dwarf everything. There are names on them no one has ever made public, and some very familiar names too will be seen to have flown more times on the Lolita Express than previously known." Andrew, 65, has always denied wrongdoing and maintains he never saw anything inappropriate in Epstein's company. However, U.S. officials believe the new batch of documents might contain references to high-profile guests at the sex offender's various properties, including Little St. James, the Caribbean island that has become synonymous with the scandal. Trump, surrounded by topless women. Sources also claim that summaries of Epstein's own comments before his death could feature in the files. Several U.S. investigators have previously alleged that Epstein boasted of possessing compromising images of powerful men, including claims of photographs showing Donald Trump, surrounded by topless young women, at parties decades ago. Whether such material exists is unknown, but the mere possibility that similar allegations could appear in official documents has rattled Washington to its core. A Capitol Hill figure told the Mirror, "This is the greatest threat Trump's presidency has ever faced. If pictures exist, if logs exist, if any of Epstein's supposed leverage material surfaces, it will be political carnage. Even his MAGA base will stand by him." For Andrew, the threat is obvious. For Trump, insiders say the fear is existential. And for Britain, the next 7 days could unleash a fresh wave of shame tied to a scandal the country hoped it had already left behind. "It feels like the dam's about to burst," an intelligence contact said. And no one knows who gets swept away when it does.